They followed him to a table next to the noisy kitchen, and Guy said, "We'll have a better table, if you please." "I'm sorry," the man said with his nose in the air. "That is quite impossible." Considering the escape they'd just made, on top of all the tension of the morning, they were a little high-strung and less willing to let some things slide. This man would make all that tension come to a head. "I'm not above causing a scene," Valentina told him, even though she was. The man snorted derisively. Guy made a show of being discreet, taking a folded 20-euro note out of his pocket, palming it, and slipped it to the man in a handshake. It was one of the counterfeit bills he had on hand to give to rude people who expected it to be bribed. It looked real enough at a glance, but whenever they tried to spend it somewhere, they'd be at least embarrassed and at most arrested. "Oh, look," the maitre d' said, "a better table just became available. Right this way, please." He led them down to an aisle with framed pen and ink sketched portraits of all the great masters: Bonetti, Thibaut, Fabrice, Sanct, Agrippa, and Capoferro. Swords hung with naked blades on the walls between them. "You should not have done that," Valentina said to him in Spanish, leaning into his shoulder as they followed. Guy's lips grew thin in a smug little grin. He changed the subject. "One of the things I like about this place," he said, "when you buy some of the really good bread or pastries to take with you, they wrap them up in parchment that's printed with French poetry written in script. It's reminiscent of Cyrano de Bergerac. You ever see that? Hum a few bars." A play written in 1897, big-nosed dueling French soldier with a gift of words and a tragically unrequited love. No? She shook her head while the maitre d' stood beside their new table and conspicuously did not pull out her chair. Guy pulled it out for her and she curtsied. "Merci," she said. "Avec plaisir." The maitre d' gave both of them leather-bound menus and bowed with an embarrassingly insincere graciousness before leaving. "Anyway," Guy went on, "in Act 2, the hero goes to the bakery of his friend Ragueneau, who's recently been bitten by the poetry bug. His wife is mad at him because they have their business to run, and instead he's sitting there writing poetry, so she takes his poems and uses them to wrap pastries. I think that's what it's supposed to be when they do it here." "That's a nice touch," she said, grateful for something else to talk about than their adventure. "I wonder if it's true, or if I just assumed all that. Either way, I like it. So what's good here?" She opened the menu and frowned at it. "It's a fusion place," he said. "They got a really good Indian version of ratatouille with an orange reduction and cardamom and a bunch of other spices. Everything except curry, I think. The lamb bourguignon is really good too. It's got cardamom, saffron, cumin, and something else I can't remember." "Are you a chef or something? How do you know all the ingredients? It doesn't say on the menu." He shrugged, pretending it was nothing, feigning humility. "What do you want to drink?" he asked. She flipped to the drinks page and frowned. "Cosmo?" He snorted. "What? Have you ever had a Cosmo?" "Well, no." Then she laughed. "I have a friend in Guate who has a restaurant, and whenever he interviews waiters, he asks them what cocktails they can make. You wouldn't believe how many say whiskey en las rocas, vodka en las rocas, ron en las rocas." "You're kidding." "I wish I was, but we're getting better. There are a lot of good bartenders and chefs now." "Okay, but if you're going to have a cocktail, don't have a Cosmo. That was a drink the fun-loving independent ladies on Sex and the City made trendy, but it was still 20 years ago." "Snob." "Oh, you don't know the half of it." "Well, go on then. What should I have? A mojito? God, no." "Ha! Why not? That drink is a bartender's worst nightmare. It takes 5 minutes to make, and he'll be sitting there muddling the mint leaves and thinking up ways to poison you the whole time." "Long Island iced tea?" "Only college kids drink that, or men trying to look cool in long-sleeve shirts that advertise fake surf shops." "Really?" "Yeah, they wear their hats backwards to show they're still kids at heart." She laughed again, the tension disappearing, and she wanted him to keep going. "Gin and tonic? That's for people who wear their polo shirts with the collar up and have unimaginative tattoos that show they're somewhat edgy, usually tribal or unverified Chinese characters." "Oh, I know. They'll pick symbols that they think mean strength or courage, but really mean peanut butter or Tuesday." "Okay, so what's next?" "Whiskey and ginger ale. That's for people who want others to see them drinking whiskey but don't want to really have to drink it. They also want to appear to play sports, so they'll saturate their Facebook wall with photos of their co-ed company softball games. They'll probably pop their collar too." "So what do you drink?" "Raspberry Jello shots." I don't see it on the menu." "Me neither." "I'll have a Coke then." "Good choice."